Hi, it's Tanya from My Forking Life, and today we're in the kitchen and we are making giblet gravy. This recipe is Grandma's recipe. Well, my husband's grandma, Corrine Cannon. She was nice enough to share me this recipe. She is over 100 years old and is still cooking in the kitchen, and I am thankful that she shared this with me. Of course, I'm gonna put a little bit of a spin on it because that's literally what I do sometimes. But either way, we're gonna make this recipe today. All right, so earlier today, I spatchcocked an entire turkey, and of course, I was so happy because my turkey had some giblets, so I set those to the side. If you're not familiar with what giblets are, it's pretty much, comes inside of your turkey or your chicken. It's composed of the turkey neck, the heart, the liver, I think that's it, whatever's in there. And we're gonna use these things to basically make a delicious gravy because we do not want to waste anything. Plus, it just also brings delicious flavor. So the first thing we wanna do, or that I'm doing for this recipe, is I am going to brown the giblets. Browning meat or whatever usually brings out this, different layer of flavor. So I am gonna take a little bit of time to do that. I'm gonna heat some oil over medium heat, and then I'm going to brown the pieces. All right, so my pot is hot. I'm gonna add some oil, and I'm gonna add my giblet pieces. I'm just gonna use my hand because, Hey there, lonely girl. Okay, and try not to overcrowd your pan. Well, look at me overcrowding a little bit. We're gonna brown these for about 2 minutes per side. Like I said, we're just trying to give it a little bit of color to build flavor. This thing is popping. We popping. All right, that's because I added that to that oil before it was hot. So I'm gonna flip some of these other pieces. So I just wanna brown them. These may have to brown a little bit longer since it's turkey and it's bigger. All right, I'm gonna remove these pieces. So I'm gonna remove some of these pieces so I can flip that turkey neck so we can have more room in this pot to brown. All right, so as you can see, we got a lot of brown goodness in this pot, but I'm gonna turn this off the heat so that I can chop up these pieces as well as get some of the meat off the turkey neck before I proceed with the recipe again. So I'm just gonna roughly chop these pieces. Again, I wasn't trying to cook this all the way through because we're gonna cook it in the gravy anyways, but I really just wanted some brown bits so that this gravy can be extra flavorful. And I'm gonna chop these up really finely. Now, mind you, this is not the turkey neck. There will be bones in the turkey neck, so you can't really just chop through it like this. You're gonna need to get like a fork to peel off and separate that skin from that bone. And the great thing about gizzards is you can put them in gravy, you can put them in stuffing. My grandma, she's not cooking like she used to, but she definitely made some of the best stuffing, and she always added gizzards to her stuffing. Again, I just love how our elders just did not waste anything, and they made absolutely delicious food. And it's interesting how we just all have similar cooking styles because my grandmother is Jamaican and she also used gizzards, and my husband's grandmother is African American and she used gizzards, and it's just beautiful how everyone just uses like similar recipes and flavor ingredients. All right, enough of my sentimental stuff. Let me separate some of the meat from this turkey neck. I usually just kind of get in there, use some muscle. So we've got this beautiful fond in our pot because we took that step to fry the the giblets. And again, that's something that you don't have to do. I like to brown it to add extra flavor. All right, so I'm placing that pot back over medium heat. The reason why we removed it, we didn't want this to continue cooking while we chopped our giblets. All right, so I'm adding some butter. And I'm gonna let that melt in the pot. And while our butter is melting, I'm gonna use that opportunity to kind of get some of these bits and pieces up off the bottom. So that my butter is melted, I'm gonna add some all-purpose flour and I'm gonna whisk that in. And I'm gonna let this cook for about 1 to 2 minutes to cook off the flour. Continuing to whisk. We do not want our flour to burn or whatever. Cooking some flour. Now, technically the correct term of what I'm doing right now is making a roux, but I'm not gonna make it turn dark. I'm basically just doing this so that the flour cooks off and it doesn't taste like flour. It also helps build flavor as well. So this here that I'm adding is actually a turkey broth that I prepared. Now you could usually add water, you can add whatever you can add chicken broth. This broth, when I made that turkey earlier, I removed the back, covered it with water, and just had this simmering and added a little bit of salt. So it has a little bit more flavor than water. And I'm gonna go ahead and just slowly kind of whisk that in as well until it becomes not as thick. So I'm gonna let this simmer. Well, before I let this simmer, I'm actually gonna add those chopped pieces back to my gravy because I do want that to cook through. And I'm gonna add that turkey neck in there for flavor. And I'm gonna let this cook over medium heat for about 30 to 35 minutes to cook through and continue to build flavor. So I'll be back. Okay, so I've had this cooking for about 30 minutes. Again, you let this cook for 30 to 35. You can actually let it cook even longer. Again, Grandma Corrine was nice enough to let me know about her gravy. And she said, you basically just leave it on the stove, like however long you want to leave it. And if company keeps coming over, you just keep adding liquid to it. And this gravy can go on and on. But I'm going to go ahead and stop it now. And I'm going to go ahead and remove these seasoning pieces. Look, I done got gravy all over me. I'm going to remove my turkey neck because I'm not eating it, but it definitely flavored this gravy. All right, and I'm going to leave my giblets in there. Now I'm adding a hard-boiled egg. Basically, when you get giblet gravy, it's going to have a hard-boiled egg in it. The reason why you add a hard-boiled egg to giblet gravy, from what I was told, is essentially whenever you're cooking your big meal and you've got, a leftover egg, you usually always have like one egg left over and you might as well just add it to your gravy. So it's basically something that I do not leave out and I make sure it gets in there. I'm going to just chop this up similar and just add it to that gravy. Actually, I think the hard-boiled egg thing is just that unspoken rule, right? Like, we don't know why people do it, but listen, we do it. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat off on this, and I'm gonna season this with just salt and pepper. That's it. You've basically seasoned it when you added those. You browned those giblets, you added that butter. You, what else did we do? Yeah, you cooked it. And so that's where this flavor comes from. That looks beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, I cannot wait to serve this. But before I serve it, I'm gonna taste it. Before I smother it over everything. Need some more salt. Tanya, you had to add a little bit more salt and pepper. What were you thinking? But that's why you got to taste your food. You can't just sit here and be like, it's done. Nah, taste it. And then you adjust the seasonings to what you like and what you think other people will like. And I knew from there I needed more. That's perfect. That's really good. All right, guys. Till the next time. Bye. Giblet gravy. Giblet gravy. Giblet. I'm making a mess. Giblet. Ooh, gravy. Mm-hmm.